Hello, hello, hi, gigpreneur. What is going on? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Very nice. My name is Sean Azimi, and I'm your ex corporate grinder. Used to work at 12, 14, 16-hour days, putting in 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, until my pancreas quit on me and left me unemployable, which means I can't get a job with my situation, and left me with nothing to fall back on. So it kind of sucked. And I was redirected to this whole online space, this whole gig economy space, if you would. And now I help folks like you, like me, to start a side gig online, and we grow it using social media. If you are somebody who likes the idea of building a stream of income and on a flexible basis, and you've been thinking about it, or you've been serious or curious, what have you, drop the word side gig in the comments, and I'll get back with you after this live. Let's go. What's happening, folksy folks? Yes. Um, let's see. I wanted to see. I haven't done this before. Give me 1 second. Just wanted to check something. Okay. Anyway, let's go. So, I don't know about you, but I definitely have some people that I gotta forgive. I don't know. I don't know. I could be the only one, but I know I have some people that Sumir, how are you? Namaste, all the way from India. I get so excited when you join me live, my man. So good to see you on Facebook. What is good? You joined at a right time. I'm just getting started. So, like I was saying, um, I don't know about you, but I got a few people that I gotta forgive. Now, the funny thing about this is that when I was going through, like some of the like one prayer that I have on a daily basis. Well, that's really a nightly basis, if you would. Good to see you, my man Samir. Is that help me forgive so and so, so and so, so and so. I have a couple of names that I name. And then one thing that I ask for is that help me forgive the people that I can remember I gotta forgive. You know, sometimes if you really sit down and think about it, you're like, oh, yeah, that person really did me wrong. I probably should forgive them too. And then your list kind of grows. I don't know. Are you like that too? Drop a one in the comments if that connects with you, that resonates with you. Like, if you focus on a couple of names, you're like, oh yeah, that person I definitely have to forgive. That one, yeah. And then your list kind of grows and you keep remembering a couple other ones. Thank you. So, but what happens when forgiveness becomes tough, right? Because I mean, there are some people that they're easier to forgive, and you're like, "Yeah, I forgive you, bro. No problem. You're forgiven, right?" And then there are those that you don't want to forgive. Like you actually don't want to forgive. Like you want to hold on to that, right? Well, let me give you a little story. There was a young man in a town where he was a quiet guy, right? He just kept to himself, didn't really talk to a lot of people, and that was because he felt like he was just being ridiculed all the time, and people hated him, and people called him names, and people just give him a hard time. So he had just kind of a sour taste in his mouth about people and just communicating and hanging out with him and stuff like that. So he just had a tough time with that. So he kind of kept to himself, right? Well, it got to a point where he got a little older, and this kind of grew a little bit on him, and it was just really bugging him. It's all like, I can't do much out there because I just really don't like a lot of people out there. Well, one day he hears about this old wise man. There's always an old wise man in the story, right? There's this old wise man that is supposed to have some really good answers to some common issues, right? So he decides to go see this old wise man, and he packs up and he takes a walk in town and goes through the forest and gets to this old wise man, and he sits down and he wants to talk with him. The old man says, "What can I do for you? Why are you here?" And the guy says, "Well, I've kind of withdrawn from people. I don't like to um, socialize with people. I don't like to talk to a lot of folks, and it's because people have done me wrong. People have done me wrong in my personal life. People have done me wrong in my spiritual life, even in my business life or my work life. People have done me wrong. I'm just sick and tired of it. And it's just kind of weighing too much on me. And I just feel like I don't know, and I can't forgive them. What do you think I should do?" The old wise man thinks for a second and says, I there's a store a couple, blocks down, and I'd like you to go there and get yourself a bag of potatoes and bring it back. The young man thinks to himself, a bag of potatoes? What does that have anything to do with what I'm asking? But he says, "You know what? I came this far and I've heard some amazing things about this guy. Let me just trust the process," right? So he decides to walk down the blocks and he gets himself a one bag of potatoes and starts bringing them back. Brings them back to the old man, and says, "Here you go, old man. I got a bag of potatoes. But what does this have anything to do with what I asked you?" He said, "Well, I want you to sit down." And he gives him a marker and he gives him a potato and he goes, "I want you to go through these potatoes and put the names of the people that you just cannot stand and hate, and they're the ones who did you wrong, and all this stuff. The people that you are having a hard time letting go and forgiving. Just, I like you to put their names, write their names down on each potato." The young man is scratching his head. He's all like, "This old man, what is he talking about?" Then again, he says to himself, "You know what? Let me just trust this process, right? I'm just going to trust the process." So he decides to write down the names on each potato. And you know what? Actually, he gets the whole bag. Everybody gets a name. So he tells the old man, he says, "You know what? It's done. What now?" And he says, "You know what? I want you to carry this bag with you everywhere you go for the next 30 days and come back and see me in 30 days. But here's the catch. Even if you go to the restroom, even you go take a shower, you got to bag this up, you got to carry your this with you there. Even if you sleep, this has got to be on you." The young man says, "This guy is really outrageous. What is he talking? What does this have anything to do with what I'm doing?" But he's all like, "You know what? I got the potatoes and I wrote the names. I might as well do this too." So he says, "All right, that's fine. I'll come back in a month, 30 days, and I guess we'll talk about what you got from me then. Says fair enough. So the young man starts to carry this bag around. First few days, it's kind of after a couple of days, it becomes kind of annoying a little bit. It's all like, I gotta, you know, take this bag everywhere with me. And then he goes to sleep and it's on top of him and he can't really toss and turn and it's kind of like uncomfortable, so he kind of loses a little bit of sleep and then he's got to take it, like bag it and conveniently and take a shower with it and all this stuff. And it's just becoming really annoying, right? And after a couple of weeks, he's really like fed up with this thing and he's all like, this thing is just really annoying. And then the potatoes start to go bad. And after a couple more days, they start to smell. They have this odor that is getting really pungent. And so when he's walking around, he's going around, people are making fun of him. People are like avoiding him really because of that stench. And he's all like, this is really too much. Like I gotta go see the old man sooner than 30 days. I can't stand this long. So he goes back to the old man within 3 weeks or so, and he says, "You know what, old man, I can't do this. I honestly can't do this. First of all, it's really annoying. It's a pain in the butt to carry this everywhere. And then it's I'm putting it in this hand and this hand. I don't know what to do with it. It's really becoming annoying. And now the potatoes are going bad, and they're starting to stink really bad. I just can't. I don't know what to do with this stuff. Could you please help me with what I came here for, and so I can get rid of this stuff?" Old man looks at him and says, "Well, sounds like you're ready to forgive." And he says, "What does that mean?" The old man says, "Well, each of these potatoes had a name. Imagine if this bag was your heart, and all these names on the potatoes, each of them were in your heart, like you were carrying it in your heart. Every hate towards this person, every resentment towards those people, the anger towards that person, the jealousy, the envy. Imagine if these were in your heart, which they are, and how crappy does that feel?" Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Be sure to follow back. Michelle. So, the point of forgiveness is not to forgive, let the bag of potatoes go for the sack of potatoes. You let the bag of potatoes go for the sake of you because you're annoyed by it. It's slowing you down. It's helping you lose sleep. It's helping you lose focus. It's helping you lose concentration. Socializing, forget about it. People don't want to be around you because it stinks. When you hold on to resentments and hate and anger and frustration from people, what you're doing is you're doing just that. You're having people not want to be around you because your mind, your speech, your conversations stink. Nobody wants to talk about that stuff. The hate, the anger, the jealousy. When you carry all that stuff, it finds home in your heart, in your mind, and you lose sleep over some of this stuff. So the best thing to do is think of it as a bag of potatoes and just drop it. Drop the bag of potatoes that you've been carrying with yourself. What a powerful message. Guy comes out, he's thinking, wow, that's pretty powerful. Finds a trash bin, starts throwing the potatoes, names one by one in them, and he kind of takes a deep breath, walks back, and says, you know what? I am done with that stuff. I don't want to carry the anger, the resentment, the hate, the envy. I don't want to carry that stuff anymore because it slows me down. It weighs on me. It's it's stopping me from growing, from producing, from being a positive person in other people's lives. So that story is pretty powerful. I got to tell you this though. Forgiveness is sometimes tough, because you feel like if you, I mean, this is for me. I feel like sometimes when you forgive and you let go, you're gonna that other person wins, right? You're like, I don't want to. Oh. But here's the thing: you want to think about the other person doesn't even think about this, has done its thing, and is gone. You and I are the ones that hold on to this stuff. They probably don't even remember. It's the truth. So I know there's some people in your life that are easy to forgive. And you're like, you're proud of yourself. I forgave John because, John's a good guy. I forgive him. Right. And then there are those people that are so hard to forgive. So hard. We become lighter. Yes. Right. So for the ones that are really hard to forgive, that's really where you and I got to practice, right? Because I mean, the easy ones are easy. Anybody can do that. It's the tough ones that are tough. It's the tough ones that really need our attention, right? We really need to practice. So I don't know for you, but for me, I ask my God, I ask my Lord and Savior to help me with forgiving this person, that person. I actually name a couple of names every night. And I mentioned that I thank you, Lord, for helping me forgive this person and this person. And if you're somebody of faith, maybe you can put that into practice if you're having a tough time with forgiving somebody. But remember this, and I've said this a lot of times. There's no sign sticking out of your head that says for rent. Okay, so don't rent space in your head to tenants you don't want, like anger, jealousy, hate, right? Don't let them get in. You don't want that tenant in your head, right? Don't let them in. Now, again, if you're having a tough time with one or two people to forgive, ask, ask for help, ask for help. And the more you ask, the more you're practicing, and it makes it a little bit easier the next time. You know. So with that, hopefully, guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. And if you know somebody who can benefit from this, get value from this live, like you did, tag them to it, share it with them. Let's go. And if you're not following me, you can. If you like, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Threads, all of them. And I go with Side Gig Sean, right? Thank you for the gifts. And yeah, I am Sean Azimi. I'm somebody who used to work in the corporate world for many years. I used to put in 12, 14, 16-hour days, and I used to work 6 days a week, very often 7 days a week, until my pancreas shut down, quit, and left me unemployable, which means I can't even get a job because of my pancreas. And yeah, and I had nothing to fall back on. So hitting rock bottom like that, I don't know if you ever have. If you haven't, you don't want to, because it was both my income and my health both gone. So it redirected me to this whole online space, this gig economy. Now, I help folks just like you, just like me, to start a side gig online, and we grow it using social media. So, if the idea of having flexibility in just creating another source of income online is resonating with you, drop the word side gig in the comments and I'll get back with you after this live. With that, I am signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.